the resignation or resignation of Al Franken yesterday?
Well, the guy, I've known him for years, and I, on BillO'Reilly.com, I told my audience that I could not really cover him fairly.
Because you hate him.
I despise him.
Yes, I know.
If I could punch him and get away with it, I would.
Okay.
But I am.
Wait. Why do you feel that way?
Because you may remember in the beginning of the Fox News channel, Franken ran around. He wrote a book about lying liars and said that I was not brought up in Levittown, Long Island, which stunned my mother, who lived there 60 years. And she said to me, "Where did we grow up?" So he's a liar.
So it's really it's a knife fight because of your hometown.
Yeah, and other things. I mean, he's just a brutal, brutal guy. You know, here's a man who was elected to the Senate. We had no qualifications other than being Stuart Smalley. And, you know, I like Minnesota, but when I go there, I'm shaking my head going, why? Then he gets in and he votes 100% for whatever Barack Obama wants. Not one deviation, okay? So he's an ideological zombie. But he's a hater. That's what I really, really resent. So I told my audience, look, I don't know what he did. I don't know what he didn't do. He did go and help the troops. That's true. So I'm not going to really get into what
But you hate him because he's a hater. You hate him because he's a hater.
Yeah, kind of that. It's a little bit more sophisticated. I don't want to get too sophisticated.
No, I know.
You're getting over the sniffles.
No, I know. So talk down to me. Talk down to me some more. Yeah, okay.
I hate him because he's a hater is a little bit too cliche.
Right. Sure.
I despise him because he's dishonest. Is that better?
Yeah, it's not good for a T-shirt, but it works. So, Bill, here's and it really kind of builds off of what you said last week. You said Donald Trump is going to be in trouble with the sexual harassment thing next year. Okay, so let me just play this game. I think this is what happened to the Republicans in the 1960s. They were the ones that were marching with King. They were the ones that have for 100 years saying, "Hey, let's stop all this stuff." Then when push comes to shove, the Democrats just kind of switch real quick and they get all the credit for the civil rights movement and they pin it all on the Republicans. Here we have a group of Republicans, and I'm not talking about the clowns in Washington, I'm talking about the voters, that have been saying character matters, character matters, character matters. And they've been trying to hold these lines. And finally, because it looks like nothing else matters and too many people throw up their hands and they're just like, whatever, if we have to play their game, we're going to play their game. And now it looks like the Democrats are making this move to make themselves look like the moral leaders.
There's no doubt about it. It's all about Roy Moore and then President Trump, as you rightly pointed out. So Franken had to go so that the Democratic Party could position itself as the party of women. See, if you look at the platform, they're the party of African Americans, they're the party of Hispanic Americans, they're the party of women, they're the party of illegal immigrants, they're the party of LGBT people, they're the party of everybody except white guys. We hate them. Okay. So they're figuring the numbers because we're the party of all these other people, but we hate the white guys. The white guys can't overcome our majority in the polling place. That's the strategy. That's it. There's no other strategy. So whatever we have to do, and I mean whatever, if we have to burn Al Franken, we're going to light the match. If we have to be dishonest and say that George Washington was a white supremacist, because he held slaves, we're going to do that. If we have to take Thomas Jefferson's name off the high school because he held slaves, we're going to do that because they're white guys. See, we don't like white guys. White guys are the enemy. But everybody else, they're there for us and we're for them.
So, Bill,
that is the strategy.
Bill, would you, I mean, I can ask you this because you've already done this. So tell me the thinking on this. As I'm watching Al Franken yesterday, he says, I didn't do any of that. I didn't do any of that. OK, but I'm going to resign because, you know, whatever. you didn't. You were like, I didn't do that, and I'm not apologizing for things I didn't do, and you are one of the only ones that are standing up and saying it didn't happen. It's a lie, and I'm not taking it.
Yeah, and I mean, look, and we can pretty much prove that down the line, and life is very, very cruel. But Franken, in his mind, and again, I don't know what he did or didn't do. I just don't know, and I'm not going to weigh in on any of that because I don't want to be part of that kind of a situation. But in his mind, he didn't do anything. See, he's a narcissist, and that's what it comes down to with many, many of these people. He didn't do anything. It was just fun and games, or I'm an affectionate kind of guy, or I'm this, or I'm that. Again, I don't know what he did or didn't do, but in his mind, he is absolutely convinced that he's totally innocent.
What was the deal?
Wait, Beck. Yeah. And not only is he totally innocent there, but he's never in his entire life done anything wrong. That's what a narcissist is. And the reason he had to go is Chuck Schumer, the minority leader in the Senate from New York State. Schumer basically picked up the phone and said, look, Al, we're going to destroy you if you don't go. We're going to destroy you. Your own party's going to destroy you because you need to get out of there so we can attack the president through Roy Moore and other people. That's why he went. That's the only reason he went. Schumer is the toughest guy on the block. Why do you think no Democrats ever vote for tax reform or anything else? Because Schumer tells them, if you go outside what we tell you to do, we're going to challenge you in a primary and we're going to cut off all your money so you won't be able to run an effective campaign. This is what Schumer does, and that's what he did to Franken.
All right, let me switch gears to Roy Moore. There is a really troubling piece of video that has just been released. Do we have the audio, Sarah? Can we play this of Roy Moore in an interview?
He said that Russia was the focus of evil in the modern world.
You could say that very well about America, couldn't you?
Do you think?
Well, we promote a lot of bad things,
Like?
Same-sex marriage.
That's the very argument that Vladimir Putin makes.
Well, then maybe Putin is right. Maybe he's more kin to me than I know.
What do you think of that, Bill?
Look, are you surprised by that?
No, but I mean the Putin thing.
Roy Moore is a very, very fringe politician. All right, he has made it clear throughout his career that he doesn't want any kind of gay stuff. That he thinks that, and what he's talking about is abortion. The reason that Roy Moore is going to win next week is abortion. The Alabama is the most pro-life state in the union, and the opponent, the Democrat, is a abortion on demand at any time, 10 minutes before you're supposed to give birth for no reason guy. That's why they're not electing Roy Moore. They're voting against his opponent. Because Moore is fringe as you can get, and that's what's happening down there.
Although they voted for him in the primary against two candidates that were not fringe. I mean, Mo Brooks is a real conservative.
That was before any of the stuff came out, and
True.
Moore positioned himself as the Christian crusader. So he was the Christian crusader, and there are enough evangelicals in Alabama in a primary situation to get you elected on that platform.
For about 3 or 4 years ago, we warned about Vladimir Putin and what he was doing with the Christian movement, and he was becoming the champion. In Russia and parts of the former Soviet Union, they were rounding gays up. It's bad. And he is doing it not because he believes in it, but because he is trying to appeal to the uber strong Christian community.
Yeah, sure. Right, you're absolutely right. Like I told President Trump in my Super Bowl interview this year with him, Putin's a killer. All right? So you can't be akin to him. He's a killer. He'll do anything. I don't even know how Putin got in the race in Alabama, but I think if Putin ran against the Democrat, he'd win.
Bill O'Reilly, back in just a second.
Glenn Beck.
Welcome to the program, Mr. Bill O'Reilly. Bill, explain to America. Did I just hear you say yo?
Yo, Rocky, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Rocky. Okay, all right. That fits. Okay. So explain to America the FBI agent that hates Donald Trump and why that matters.
Okay. This situation really helps the president, number one, because no matter what Mueller comes up with now, it'll be tainted. So that's the headline, number one. Number two, if you have a high-ranking FBI investigator, and he was the number two in the Hillary Clinton email situation, this guy, all right, Strzok.
Explain what he did. Wait. Explain who he is first.
All right. So Peter Strzok is a high-ranking FBI guy who was assigned to the Clinton email case and who convinced Director Comey to be less inflammatory in his description of what Hillary Clinton did. All right, that's number one. Then after that, he was transferred to Mueller's office to look into the Russian collusion investigation. Okay? While he was there, he apparently wrote emails and texts to his mistress, also working for the FBI, disparaging Donald Trump. While he was investigating him, he was also disparaging him on email. The FBI found out about it, and they removed him from the case in August. But instead of telling the American people what happened, the FBI didn't tell anybody what happened and hoped that they could get away with not revealing that they had a high-ranking investigator on Mueller's staff trashing Trump behind the scenes. That is really bad, all right? That besmirches the FBI and Mueller. So now Strzok has been transferred to Fargo, North Dakota, or wherever. He's out. But the congressional investigators are saying, we want to see the emails and the texts. And if you don't hand them over, we're going to charge the Justice Department, Rod Rosenstein, who oversees Mueller, with contempt of Congress. And also the FBI director testified yesterday, okay, Christopher Wray, who came off as a total moron, with all due respect to Mr. Wray. He was asked questions he should have known. He knew he was going to be asked them, and he goes, well, I'll look into it. I really don't know. Bull. He should have been called out. He wasn't called out. All right? If I had been a senator, a congressman on that committee, I would have been outraged. I said, you knew what you were going to be asked. And you came in here ill-prepared, and you're wasting our time? That's an outrage. And then I would have thrown a pie at him back. Probably a custard pie.
You know, I never.
Anyway, that's what happened.
I never thought of this before until just now.
Yeah.
You'd be a fun senator. Have you ever thought of that?
I'd be a blast.
You really would be.
But I'd last about 45 seconds before Media Matters accused me of murdering somebody in 1957 when I was 6.
And definitely not in whatever that town is, that Levittown that you grew up in.
Levittown.
Yes.
Yes. Big deal, Beck. Don't disparage it.
So, so the FBI, is tainted, which is why I believe the FBI itself needs to be investigated because they were tainted for Clinton. They may be tainted against Trump, but also I don't believe them on Russia. I mean, they have done too many weird things with Russia and kind of kicked dirt over the tracks on other topics with Russia.
Sure.
We need...
This thing is unraveling now.
Yeah. Okay.
And once those emails and texts come out to the public, the FBI is going to, you're right, they're going to have to be a big investigation.
Glenn Beck. You're listening to the Glenn Beck Program.
Jerusalem is still the capital of Israel and must remain an undivided city accessible to all.
As soon as I take office, I will begin the process of moving the United States ambassador to the city of Israel as chosen as its capital.
I continue to say that Jerusalem will be the capital of Israel, and I have said that before, and I will say it again.
And Jerusalem will remain the capital of Israel, and it must remain undivided.
We will move the American embassy to the eternal capital of the Jewish people, Jerusalem. Therefore, I have determined that it is time to officially recognize Jerusalem as the capital of Israel. While previous presidents have made this a major campaign promise, they failed to deliver. Today, I am delivering.
I never thought he would do that. I actually apologized to the fans of Donald Trump today and told them I was wrong. You were right on this issue. He still has to move it. Otherwise, it's kind of like Obama's bare ears monument. But if he actually moves the embassy, this is a really big deal, Bill.
Yeah, I think so. Most Americans aren't tuned into this. They don't really understand the history of it. It's a respect to Israel, and it basically tells the world that we are sympathetic to the Jewish state. And, of course, that sets the Arabs and the Muslim world off because they hate the Jews.
Right, and they hate us too. They hate us.
I mean, I'll agree. Not every nation like Morocco, they don't hate us, but the real hardcore Muslim Arab fanatics, of course, hate the birthday, no doubt.
Yeah. So what does this mean, Bill?
It doesn't mean much other than Trump, even if you don't like him, is a guy who does respect his promises. He does. I mean, almost everything that he said is either done or underway. And the economy is picking up nicely. So he's got a real shot if he stops the nonsense, the tweeting and the feuds. If he stops all that, he got a real shot at getting reelected. And, if he's smart about it. I want to tell you one thing, though. I don't know if I mentioned this on your program, but I predicted, and we discussed last week, that there's going to be a tremendous assault on President Trump coming.
Agree.
Probably come in January. Because he did get the tax reform passed, and the Democrats now say, well, we got to destroy him because he may get reelected. There is a tape, Beck, an audio tape of a anti-Trump person offering $200,000 to a woman to accuse Donald Trump of untoward behavior.
So, you have talked to me about this. You've talked to me about this tape. You've talked to me about it privately as well with additional information. Is this tape going to be released or?
Well, I may have to go to the U.S. attorney myself. I don't want to have to do that and inject myself into the story. But I had my lawyer listen to the tape, my attorney.
Right.
He's listened to it. There are at least 3 crimes on the tape. So as a citizen, I may have to do this.
I will tell you, Bill, that that's what the first thing that you said. You say, well, I'm trying to get it, so it could be released. It needs to be released. And you weren't talking about getting it for you to release it, but it had to be out there. And I think the first time I said to you, if they don't, you got to bring it to the U.S. attorney.
I listen. Again, it's in the hands of someone who knows the seriousness of the situation. All right.
What is their hesitancy?
I can't really get into that at this point, but I can tell you that Donald Trump knows about the tape, that the president knows it. And I'm, for the life of me, sitting here going, why on earth are you allowing a movement to try to smear you when you have a powerful, and I mean it's powerful, piece of evidence that shows this is an industry, that there are false charges and money changing hands? Okay, so it's so frustrating, but I wanted your listeners to know it. It's there. It's amazing, and it will change the whole discussion if it ever gets out.
So when do you decide you're going?
I have no idea. It's a big legal thing, and I'm watching it, but I'm not going to let it go. I'm not going to. You know me. I'm not going to let it go. So I can't give you any deadlines or anything like that. But I'm in this. And I'm not going to allow the country to be deceived. I'm just not. Not to say that Donald Trump didn't do stuff wrong. I mean, he did. But I'm not going to. I know there's an industry that pays people to smear other people.
Yeah.
And that's got to be exposed.
Yeah. But that doesn't mean that some of the other accusers. But
no,
it's
just. Go ahead.
Yeah, it does show that. I mean, because I really believe, and it's not just going to be from the left. It'll be left, right. It'll be everybody. There will be people, if you can just continue to destroy people just by making an accusation, there will be people that will do it for money. And boy, would I like to say a few things on that right now, but I'm not going to with Mr. O'Reilly
and
here.
You know it's true, and so do I, and so does every powerful person in the country. Anyway, I wanted to tell you before you kick me off the air here that I got your Christmas card. Very nice. Glenn Beck sends great Christmas cards. But I wanted to ask you, have you made your Christmas gift list? Gifts that you're going to give people. Have you done that?
Well, did you get the 5 Bitcoins in the Christmas card that because I know I
didn't get anything from you, and I never do.
No, I put them in. I put them in the envelope there.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, go check the envelope. You didn't throw that envelope away, did you?
No.
Yeah,
because there's a nice little picture of you and everybody you've known in your entire life.
It's my family
on the card.
Yeah, that's
right. Everybody's there.
So I have never received anything from Bill O'Reilly. Nothing for Christmas.
Oh, come on. I sent you a free sign, Killing England. And, it's just so big that your staff probably stole it and didn't give it to you. But that's what I'm getting at. If you go to BillO'Reilly.com, Beck, as I know you do every day, because you want to get the best in his analysis, you can get 4 free killing books or any of my other books. Free, 4. Okay? And you can give them away with little Bitcoins or whatever else you're doing. I have no idea what that is.
So, in other words, I could give the gift of Bill O'Reilly all season long.
Stu desperately needs to read the books or have someone read them to him.
That's easier.
You get 4 free books if you buy 3 gift certificates to BillO'Reilly.com. That's 7 gifts, Beck.
Can I buy a Bill O'Reilly sweater or anything?
No, we don't have Bill O'Reilly sweaters, but we do have We Say Merry Christmas maps.
Maps?
Put outside your door. Signal to the world that you say Merry Christmas.
Oh, you mean a mat?
So we have,
okay, yeah,
like
a doormat. Yeah,
and we have all kinds of great stuff like that. So it's a benign, uplifting website, BillO'Reilly.com.
It's amazing.
And
where'd you get the idea of the door?
I know that I care deeply about.
Where'd you get the idea? Because I've been your doormat for a long time. So where did you get the idea of the doormats there, Bill?
The We Say Merry Christmas doormat is a
classic.
an item that you have to have if you say Merry Christmas.
You're saying basically you're not really even a fulfilled person if you don't have one.
No, but I'm going to have a mat next year that says we hate Christmas. Don't even mention it. So we'll be with the secular people, too.
Wow, that's great. That's great. Bill O'Reilly, thank you very much. From BillO'Reilly.com, and his new book is Killing England. Have a good weekend, Bill.
You too.